Good afternoon. Let's take a look at the upcoming week of May 27th through June 2nd. A time that is actually a watershed. You may have noticed already last week that the amount of tasks that are coming down on our heads, the speeds we are getting into, it's some kind of fundamentally different mode. It's almost as if we need to regroup quickly into some new layer of directions. In general, this week is very similar in its meaning to what happened in 2020, to what happened just about somewhere in the spring-summer, when the previous mechanisms of work were sharply blocked. And it was necessary to invent in order to reorganize to a new format on a remote work in some more free mode where I am my own entrepreneur, and the former big structure does not work. I have to somehow replay the rules. This week offers exactly the same thing. Let's find new sources, new opportunities, and tasks are already starting to pile up like a cornucopia. Chances are you've already caught some of the other mode and other speeds that came in as early as last week. This week it all develops, intensifies, and finally takes on some sort of intelligible form. This coming week ushers in a new annual cycle. In the next 12 months we have Jupiter in Gemini, which pushes us into educational projects and gives them a great big bonus of opportunity, pushes us into the technological digital direction. Anything that has to do with mastering and utilizing fully inclusive artificial intelligence in any of your activities is right up there, in some sense a must-have for the coming year. Thanks to Jupiter in Gemini, this will be done easily and with gusto. And now we begin and enter this cycle exactly here this week. So watch as life is dramatically rearranged. And if you were tired of this realignment in 2020, then you may be feeling like I'm going to have a quick realignment now. That is, there are certain nuances that some people will find this rebuilding easy, and some may feel as if the old mechanics have broken down and new ones need to be learned not so quickly. But nevertheless, Jupiter in Gemini is favorable to almost all signs, and will do it in a kind enough way, not in the cardinal format that the 2020 Gemini eclipses sounded like, literally transforming our activities. Here still, by goodwill, many such transitions to a new way of activity or to a new sphere can occur. And now I will analyze each day specifically, tell you the nuances, peculiarities, because there is a harsh, tough beginning on Monday, there is an incredibly soulful continuation on Tuesday, on Wednesday, there are a lot of brilliant revelations, and Saturday is very difficult. Let's move on to breaking down the specific days. Monday, May 27th. A day of collected, tough, serious energy. With the moon here in the sign of Capricorn, there is a sense of inner stress that pushes many tasks. The day is very constructive, active. In the morning there will be a sense that even without drinking coffee, as if a couple cups of coffee have been drunk, there is some inner wind-up mode of solving many problems. Everything that has to do with technology, everything that has to do with information processing, is also done on Monday. And this is probably the most rigid, concentrated, and charged for business solution of issues. That is, we directly cling to solve any tasks. At the same time, adrenaline rises inside and nothing stops me. The only weak point of this Monday is the black moon, which can create some kind of problem around a monetary material task. Or the black moon will signify that in each person with their own thoughts in their head. The main thing is not to take other people's distortions. Basically, this is the main advice. Closer to the evening, on the night from 27 to 28, Jupiter turns on lightness, inspiration. And the night from 27 to 28 can pass in some inspiring conversations about new opportunities that the world brings. And life will play with some positive colors. Tuesday, May 28th. One of the happiest, most beautiful, pleasant days filled with the open energy of friendly communication. The moon here will move into the sign Aquarius, and the feeling is that, my friends, I love you. Let's do something together. The theme of hanging out together, socializing, traveling, adventures, learning and education in pleasant and interesting company, becomes one of the main leitmotifs of all the following June. And here Tuesday, May 28th directly says that all problems go away, my company, let's be friends, let's have fun, let's go somewhere together. And this positivity is due to the influence of pleasant Venus in the first half of the day, which says life is filled with pleasant socializing. This day can lay down a cycle for the whole next day, even June, saying that life should be beautiful, pleasant, and it should be filled with interesting people. And the whole day is on such super inspiration. Toward evening, the note of the past is turned on, which says that you should pull up old friends, old company, pick up your notebook, write to someone you haven't contacted for months, have a nice chat, open up and gather some of your classmates in early June, go somewhere together. This theme of going to your place of pleasant past, or gathering a group from the pleasant past becomes one of the most important for the following June. And now on the 28th of the month, it's coming from all sides. Wednesday, May 29th. A day that continues to reveal the theme of companionship. The moon here continues to be in the sign of Aquarius. Friends, let's come up with some brilliant idea. Let's get together again. That said, Mercury is very cool on this day, which says that there is no stopping my thoughts at all. You could basically pick up on the great speed of processes that started last week and that will continue this week. It's as if 333 tasks have time to get done. It's as if life just piled on a pile of some hustle and bustle already from last week, and this week it is directly felt completely. It's like the number of events is just off the charts. And here Tuesday, Wednesday, these events are directly solved very well. You have to realize that not only the number of tasks has gone off the top of your head, twice as much at the end of May, but the speed of solving them has increased 2 or 3 times. This is due to the fact that the sign Gemini is starting to take over here. We have Venus, Sun, Jupiter in Gemini, and the feeling that life just blossoms with good qualities of Gemini, and that speed, efficiency, travel, adventure, movement, learning. In general, be bold and most importantly, emphasize educational programs. Here at the end of May you may be entering some big long-term cycle of an interesting educational project that will inspire and energize you with enthusiasm for the entire coming year while Jupiter is in Gemini. Thursday, May 30th. Here the energy will shift a bit into a calmer direction. The moon is already moving into the sign of Pisces, and there is a sense of not rushing, not hurrying, paying more attention to your emotional world, your rapprochement with loved ones. These days of May 30th to 31st are good enough to get away from all the big hustle and bustle that reigned during the first 3 days, and just devote time to your emotions and feelings. That said, Venus is playing a very nice role here. She creates such a romantic and pleasant situation of a loving nature, where one chats and is filled with soulfulness from each other. So overall romanticism and love vibes are a priority here. Friday, May 31st. Also emotional priorities of a personal, loving nature should be represented here in the very first place. There is an aspect to Saturn here, which sounds like there is a theme of emotional responsibility for grandmother, grandfather, someone in the family, health issues of loved ones that do not leave emotionally indifferent, but require emotional maturity and responsibility. A good day to go to a psychologist. Here you will receive such a simple amount of insights on the topic that it was possible to do so, and so generally happens. In fact, I'm also one of those people who is pushing for astrology to have a good breakthrough, and a lot of the predictions you hear from me are with a strong psychological emphasis and with strong references to working with a psychologist. This is because basically in these years 2023, 24, 25 we have Saturn in Pisces, which says that psychologists are becoming serious deep professionals, and it's a good time to be trained in psychology, it's a good time to interact with them and take the results from there. And so May 31st is one of the most successful days through the lens of psychological work. So go ahead and make up your mind. Another feature of this day is a brilliant revelation from Mercury with Uranus, starting as early as Tuesday, and very well represented on Sunday. So grabbing ideas from some high space will just work out here. The time of brilliant revelations is right here and now happening. Don't miss it. Saturday, June 1st. And the most interesting, the most so slightly inadequate begins. June 1st we have the black moon turning on in negotiations, in conversations, and in communications. People can be distorted by trying to negotiate with each other. It's as if we're having a conversation and not understanding the subjects themselves. Either everyone is talking about their own things, or everyone is in their own subjective views, or the subject matter of the conversation is fictitious and suspended for the time being. As if it could be like this, or it could be like this, maybe we will work with you, or maybe we won't work, maybe something will happen, or maybe it won't. And the whole day can be built on these. That is, the head is working a little bit idle on ideas that will not be particularly objective and effective. Therefore, try not to conduct key negotiations within this day, or be ready for the fact that everything said on this day may have suspended and unresolved issues. That said, it could be big money projects, it could be big serious people pitching a bunch of ideas within Saturday. On Friday there are a lot of good quality ideas, but Saturday frankly on behalf of even a very serious, influential monetary person can sound like some wildness. And then after a few days comes the realization that no one is going to solve this issue. Here may be said words behind which nothing stands, or there are some fears and doubts. So filter the speeches of others and do not take them seriously. because it is possible to get very frightened here. Nevertheless, the important part is that the moon turns into Aries closer to evening, and the atmosphere itself is very aggressive. Sunday, June 2nd. One of the major days of the week. The main days of the week, because here the note of the future is turned on, which says that everyone has his own way, his own path. Everyone came into this life, was born to solve some personal problem. And this is the theme, that everyone should go their own way, not looking back at anyone around them. And this day also carries such a characteristic of, nobody gives a damn about anybody. Nobody cares about anybody, nobody cares about anybody. This is the time when we realize our personal selfish goals. And the attempt to keep some connection, some contact, some interaction, that we are together, it does not work. It's every man for himself. And this leitmotif on this day of June 2nd duplicates the energy of the eclipse that took place on April 9th in the sign of Aries, and the essence of which is, I'm going my own personal way. Sounds the same on June 2nd. So be careful, the aggressiveness of this day is off the charts. You want to throw all the foes away from you. The day is very cardinal, but at the same time it says that I am doing all this because I realized where I am going and with whom I am not on my way. And here is this cardinal sounding thing, that I only have my path, everyone else means nothing to me. So these are the cardinal things, they're going to happen here. But this day is very important for making progress in entrepreneurship, in those areas where you see your life potential, what you were born for, and what your personal energy is designed for. And this is where just the concept that each one of us is born into this world, each one of us comes into this world alone and leaves alone. And so, what is your personal purpose? Well, it doesn't really resonate with the female concept. A woman often perceives herself to live for her family, for her relatives, for her significant other, for her loved one. This day suggests that you two have some completely separate, unrelated task, and you need to be able to keep it in mind.